Good day, everyone. Today we're going to learn about inductive and deductive reasoning. So first off, what is inductive reasoning? So it is a type of reasoning that forms a conclusion based on the examination of specific examples. Now, the conclusion formed by using inductive reasoning is a conjuncture, since it may or may not be correct. So to understand this more, basically inductive reasoning is just a process of reaching a general conclusion by examining specific examples. So when you examine a list of numbers and then predict the next number in the list according to some pattern you have observed, you are now using inductive reasoning. So here we have two examples in using inductive reasoning to predict a number. So first off, we have two questions here. So in letter A, it is 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. So just by looking at it or just by observing, we all know that there is a pattern because each successive number is 3 larger than the preceding number. Thus, we predict that the next number in the list is 3 larger than 15, which is 18. Next is 1, 3, 6, 10, and then what comes next? So, just by looking at it also, or just by observing, the first two numbers is differ by 2. The second and the third numbers differ by 3. So it appears that the difference between any two numbers is always 1 more than the preceding difference. Since 10 and 15 differ by 5, we predict that the next number in the list will be 6, larger than 15, which will be 21. So inductive reasoning is not just used to predict the next number in a list. So here, in using inductive reasoning to make a conjecture, we need to consider the following procedure, which is picking a number, multiply the number by 8, add 6 to the product, divide the sum by 2, and then subtract 3. So to complete the above procedure for several different numbers, use inductive reasoning to make a conjecture about the relationship between the size of the resulting number and the size of the original number. So our solution, supposed to be, we pick 5 as our original number. Then the procedure would produce the following results. So it is said in the procedure that we need to pick a number. So we pick 5 and then we need to multiply the number by 8. So 8 times 5 will be 40. And then it also said in the procedure is to add 6 to the product. So by adding 6, it will be 46. And then divide the sum by 2, it will be 23. And then subtract 3, it will be 20. Now, we started with 5 and then follow the procedure to produce 20. The result is that the number is 4 times the original number. We conjecture that following the given procedure produces a number that is 4 times the original number. And what do we mean by that? So, just by understanding it, just looking at the sentence, we started with 5, follow the procedure to produce 20. So, by following the procedure, we now can come up with our own pattern, which is 5, 10, 15, and then 20. Now, 5 now is 4 times the original number, which is 20. Next is a pendulum. So, what is a pendulum anyways? Bakit siya nasama dito? So, pendulum is mostly used in inductive reasoning for scientists. For instance, Galileo Galilei used inductive reasoning to discover that the time required for a pendulum to complete one swing, called the period of the pendulum, depends on the length of a pendulum. Galileo did not have a clock, so he measured the periods of a pendulum in heartbeats. Following the table shows some results obtained for pendulums of various lengths. For the sake of convenience, a length of 10 inches has been designated as 1 unit. So here's the table. So it shows the length of a pendulum in units and also period of pendulum and heartbeats. This is what a pendulum looks like. The period of a pendulum is the time it takes for the pendulum to swing from left to right and back to its original position. So, by knowing pendulum, our next will be using inductive reasoning to solve an application. Now, first question is, if a pendulum has a length of 49 units, what is its period? And the second question is, if the length of a pendulum is quadrupled, what happens to its period? So, first of all, we need to look at the table. Now, to focus on question number 1, we need to know the length of 49 units. So, what is its period? So, looking by the table of length of pendulums in units, all of them are square root. If you square root 4, it is 2. If you square root 9, it will be 3. If you square root 16, it will be 4. Now, if you square root 25, it will be 5. And then when you square root 36, it will be 6. Now, in 49, if we square root it, it will be 7. So, the length of 49 units will have a period of 7 heartbeats. Next, so in letter B, we need to know the length of a pendulum is quadrupled. So we need to know what happens to its period. So in the table, a pendulum with a length of 4 units has a period that is twice of a pendulum with a length of 1 unit. So a pendulum with a length of 16 units has a period that is twice of a pendulum with a length of 4 units. So it appears that quadrupling the length of pendulum doubles its period. So that is what happened. It just doubles its period. So next is the deductive reasoning. So what is deductive reasoning? So it is another type of reasoning because deductive reasoning is distinguished by inductive reasoning in that it is the process of reaching a conclusion by applying general principles and procedures. So basically, deductive reasoning is the process of reaching a conclusion by applying general assumptions, procedures, or principles. So here are examples. Using deductive reasoning to establish a conjuncture. So, using deductive reasoning to show the following procedure produces a number that is 4 times the original number. So we're going to proceed just like what we did in inductive reasoning. So there is also a procedure, so we need to follow it. So our procedure will also be pick a number, multiply by 8, add 6 to the product, divide the sum by 2, and then subtract it by 3. So our solution will be, let n represent the original number. So it will look like this. So multiply the number by 8, so it will be 8n. And then we need to add 6 to the product. So 8n plus 6. So next, divide the sum by 2. So 8m plus 6 divided by 2 will be 4n plus 3. So subtract 3, it will be 4n plus 3 minus 3, it will be 4n. So we started with n and then ended with 4n. The procedure given in this example produces a number that is 4 times the original number. So that is all. Thank you very much. So, all of my informations here that was shown in my PowerPoint presentation will be all credited to the Mathematics in the Modern World book by Cengage Philippine edition. So, you can look at the page 56 to 59 for the inductive and deductive reasoning topics. Thank you and have a good day.